welcome to Cover Story. This week we shall be debating the political handling of the JNU crisis and whether it will, and of course it will be looming large in Parliament, so the impact it will have on the budget session of Parliament. I have a distinguished panel of editors to do this with me. I have Mr. Madhav Nalapat, Editorial Director of the Sunday Guardian, Mr. H.K. Dua, former editor and political analyst, and also Neerja Chaudhary, a familiar face, political analyst and commentator. Neerja, I'll begin with you. You know, it's been said that, the government, by raising sedition charges and making this whole debate into national, anti-nationalism, have they been reacting a bit too heavy-handedly?
I would say so. I've said this in the past, Priya, that it's like using the AK-47 to swat a fly, their reaction.
That heavy-handed.
Yeah. I think, I mean, there'd be very few Indians who would like some of the slogans that were raised there.
Correct.
You know, that India would break, inshallah, that kind of, it would make no Indian happy at all.
Then why is they being heavy-handed?
And we all know, I've lived in JNU, this is a very, very fringe group, this very small group who were raising those slogans. Now, on a university campus, suppose these slogans are raised, and if you allowed a meeting to protest about Afzal Guru, then you should have anticipated the kind of support that might come for him, and then there is a section of people who were unhappy with the way Afzal Guru, that death penalty was awarded to him. Now you can agree, I feel the due process was followed, but there are others who differ on this. And the entire Kashmir Valley believes in this. So if this is the heavy-handed method in which you get the police on a university campus, you have sedition charge. Sedition is about use of violence. It is about a conspiracy to overthrow. You know, there is a caveat by the Supreme Court on the whole issue of sedition. You can say, yes, they made anti-India, they expressed anti-India sentiment, but there was a different way of dealing. There was a different charge that could have been brought. Maybe at the university level it should have been handled. I'm not saying encourage those kind of tendencies, but I am saying this was not the way to go about it. Because now you have these fires all over the university campuses. It has a bearing on dissent. It has a bearing on university autonomy. And many issues, freedom of speech, do people take law into their hands? You know what happened in the courts, journalists under attack. Dua Sahab will bear me out. This has not happened for decades. It happened after the, the Bihar press bill when we walked down Rajpath. But
defamation bill.
The defamation bill. So, I mean, these are very, very worrying, disquieting things that are happening in the country today.
Mr. Nalapat, before I bring Dua Sahab in,
No.
are you as appalled as Neerja?
Well, I must say that the tactics of the police were not the best. For one thing, if you have individuals who have got these views, and they are plainly views that are very worrisome, for a simple reason that if these views were carried into practice, the country would basically implode. India would become something like what Syria is today, and that will have tremendous consequences.
But the police is acting at someone's behest also, right?
Well, I don't know on whose behest they're acting, but I would say, for example, arresting the student union leader. Now, that is a decision that should have been definitely reconsidered and reconsidered multiple times before you go through with it. After all, JNU is an important university. The student union leader plays an important role in student politics in the country. My own belief is there was really no political control of the police. The police was simply told to take care of a situation. I don't know at what level. And they went in without any political input. In a democracy, it's always dangerous to let the police loose without political input.
Dua Sahab, Mr. Nalapat has a point. Police really don't have the sense of history that this is a CPM fellow, this is a leftist fellow, he will be chanting a certain kind of...
It's dangerous to let the police loose without political input.
Dua Sahab, Mr. Nalapat has a point. Police really don't have the sense of history that this is a CPM fellow, this is a leftist fellow, he will be chanting a certain kind of slogan pro the situation in JNU. He will not take all this into account. So should the political handling of this have been maybe more deft?
Political handling also is at fault. Why did not they control the police? It's under their hand, it's under central government.
Right.
Now, why can't the Home Minister call the police commissioner that, look, this is not the way to handle the students. And he ought to know the students. In UP, there has been a number of troubles the students have been having in Lucknow University and other universities. Parents have the trouble with sometimes there is a dissenting child. Now, you don't say you are anti-family. On this case, you are saying anti-national. At the moment, most of the universities, our atmosphere has got electrified. Now that's not conducive for higher education and not conducive for the country. Ordinary people, third-rate people are deciding who is a nationalist, who is not a nationalist. Your nationalism is being questioned. If you question somebody's nationalism, and who defines who is a national? Now latest is in the papers, I'm going by the newspaper report, IIT Bombay, which is the premier institution of the country, entire faculty of 48 people have given a statement that nationalism cannot be defined, not even by the state. And here you have invoked a law under which Bal Gangadhar Tilak was sent to Mandle for sedition, anti-sedition law, 1833 law.
Right.
Lord Macaulay's law has been invoked.
For a student.
For a student who is the president of the union, what is his fault? He is the president of the union.
But Mr.
Now,
Nalapa-
even if he has used some harsh words,
Yes, that is what I was coming to.
it is debatable whether he used the word which he has
Whether he
been-
chanted the slogans or not.
Sure. Students are always little go out of control. You have to handle them very, very sensitively. It should be handled by the teachers actually. They should know what is happening, and they could have called him, look, have the rally, but don't go overboard. Possibly they would accept it. But to call the police, and police slaps, and sedition law. Now, it's the,
These are polyas. I
the
just bring-
sedition law
Yeah.
is, frankly speaking, the main issue that has become. There is
I'll just bring in Mr. Nalapa
no,
and
just
then I'll
one point
come
I'll
to you.
make. Sedition law involves attempt to overthrow state. The words meant to overthrow it. What Kanhaiya Sharma, was he attempting to overthrow the state? No, it
Right.
wasn't.
But Nija, now in Parliament, how are we going to see this play out? Because the government has let this situation fester. You know, at an all-party meeting, it has been decided, yes, this will be discussed in Parliament. The government has agreed to discuss it. But do they need to do something before it actually reaches the floor of the House?
Well, the Prime Minister took a very welcome initiative calling the leaders of various parties to South Bloc. This is the first time that the Prime Minister did this. Normally the Lok Sabha Speaker has an all-party meeting before a session begins. But whether it's going to have any impact, given the way, you know, it's become a very contentious politics. And that is not getting diminished, it's actually increasing, the contention. And given the relationship between the Congress party leaders particularly and the Prime Minister, and nothing has given way there, I hate to be very skeptical, cynical,
But
but
realist.
I see the budget session also being a washout as the monsoon session and winter session was. Of course, the financial business will go through. You will have the budget go through because, you know, even in times of crisis in the past, the opposition does cooperate
On the
with the
budget.
government on the budget. You'll see the President's address. People say that that may also get disturbed, economic survey, rail, budget, etc. So that minimum thing will happen. But beyond that, I personally, unless some magical intervention takes place, you know, not much business being transacted.
Mr. Nalpat, are you as skeptical? And what can the Prime Minister and the opposition, we'll talk about the opposition in a bit, what can the government do?
See, to my mind, the important election for Narendra Modi was 2014. And the next important election is only 2019.
But 5 years free
getting,
run.
no, but getting him involved in all these state contests, almost in the banner of a state leader, pitting him against state leaders, making him the rival to Nitish Kumar, the rival to Arvind Kejriwal, the rival to X, Y, and Z. Quite frankly, that has done damage to him. It has done damage to the BJP. Now, I am very worried about one particular thing that is being happened here. And that is, for example, the ABVP. Now, the ABVP can grow in a campus only organically. It cannot grow artificially with the help of a government. Because if you rely on a government, then tomorrow if you're out of power, you're going to be in trouble. The Congress party should have dominated the universities across the country because it has been in government. So my worry, frankly, is I'm seeing in several universities a kind of a, you know, the university administration seem to be going out of their way to help the ABVP. This is creating resentment among other students. In my view, this reliance on the university administration, this reliance on the government to promote its interests is doing great harm to the BJP student union.
But what about the Prime Minister? And what about the Home Minister? What about the people who are also supposed to be looking into things like this?
Gone beyond JNU now.
Exactly. Yes.
Lots of universities, there is a definitely atmosphere of anger against the government for a student being slapped with the sedition law. Why could some sedition law be withdrawn?
But that
purely
even the
tactical
UPA is
reasons.
at fault for misusing and not withdrawing.
No. I'm talking of the
since
government.
Nehru days they've been talking about
Every party will exploit it. Other way around also.
Exactly.
That is not the issue. Issue is what can be done by the government. One thing is to withdraw the sedition law. You could have arrested him in some other local law. But there are so many laws under the Indian Penal
We
Code.
have someone disagreeing. Yes, Mr. Nalpat.
Priya, I'll tell you, I've always said, apart from North Korea, India is the only country in the world where it's so easy to arrest somebody. You know, some complaint comes on a postcard, you can be sent to jail. Arrest is the first option, the first to the 9th option of 10 options in India. And each time there's any problem, you have the media, you have officials, you have politicians, all crying out for arrest. Now, taking away the liberty of an individual is a very important thing. And I would like to say that, for example, those of us who have been through, for example, the emergency, a situation where the citizens
But
have
it
no
is
rights at all.
ironic that those people who went through the emergency are now accused of
So
imposing
therefore,
civil
I would like to
conditions.
say arrest should be absolutely the exception. And in this particular case, my view is, yes, there are 2 or 3 people there who gave extremely objectionable slogans. These slogans definitely were anti-Indian, and there's no doubt about it. But there are 2 points. One, if somebody is giving slogans which basically give aid and comfort to another country, my view is we should follow the example of some countries in Europe, tear up that person's passport and send him to the country of his dreams. We should be tough on that. But you know, there's no point in talking about a sedition law. If you send somebody to jail for a week and then he goes out on bail, if you're talking of fighting sedition, you have to fight it by harsh penalties. And the best penalty is do what the man wants. He wants to go to a different country, send him there.
Okay, Neeta, you know, before we go on to this debate, the opposition's role, you know, Rahul Gandhi went to JNU. Now he's been criticized by some that he's been siding by anti-national elements. The other people, his own party says this is a good move. He's actually, you know, he's feeling the pulse of the youth, and it's something that he went, he's identified with the youth, and he's actually scored political brownie points. How do you see Rahul's JNU visit?
I think there are 2 views on this, and 2 views from what I can make out in the party also, that he took the initiative on the Rohit Vemula case, which certainly earned him brownie points, and that is something, that suicide of a bright, young Dalit scholar who came through his own merit and steam and was pushed into a corner to take his life. That had sent a ripple effect, you know, it made, I think we will see that pan out in the coming weeks and months. So I know the BJP, from all accounts, is very worried on that count, because Narendra Modi has wanted to woo the Dalit constituency. Dalit constituency is going to be very important for the BJP in the Uttar Pradesh elections 2017. So they found, no matter what they did, they found themselves on the back foot. They first tried to show he was not a Dalit, whatever steps they took. Now Rahul, you know, certainly reached out to that community, and here when JNU erupted, he tried to do the same. Now the 2 opinions within the party are as follows: very good. He followed his, continued with his initiative with the young, and young are getting a bit disenchanted with Narendra Modi. The youth voted big time for him.
Correct.
The second is that Rahul Gandhi should have condemned absolutely unequivocally the anti-national slogans and gone on to make the point that he did, that which he said suppressing the voice of JNU and students was anti-national. Very good point, and you know, this cannot be. But some feel that he should have, you know, made that position also very, very clear. Which he, at least in what he said, he didn't. Maybe he wanted to, and that's the opinion he held.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 opinions. Because the Congress people feel that they need to capture that nationalist, centrist space that belonged to the Congress party, representing all the communities.
And
you
the
know, not
BJP wants
not antagonizing any community or coming across as in favor of a nationalist, centrist space that belonged to the Congress party, representing all the communities.
And
you
the
know, not
BJP wants
not antagonizing any community or coming across as in favor of a community or the other.
Mr. Dua, how do you explain the curious behavior of Arvind Kejriwal? He dashes off to Hyderabad to side on a student's campus agitation there, but JNU, which is his own backyard, he doesn't go. He hasn't yet visited JNU.
I've never understood Kejriwal, let me be honest with you. He's a unpredictable person, but he has a very, very calculating mind. Why does he go to Punjab? He's sensing an opportunity.
Yeah.
4 seats already captured in last Lok Sabha. 3 of them resigned. That's okay. That's a separate matter. But he's sensing the chance to project himself, any chance to project himself at the national level.
So why hasn't he gone to JNU?
Now, why he has gone to JNU, that only he can explain. What was he
Mr.
doing?
Nahalapat wants to explain.
And maybe he ran out of mufflers, but that apart.
Why didn't he go to JNU?
You know, Priya, I have never underestimated Arvind Kejriwal. I think the man is a very shrewd politician. He has some limitations because of the fact that he has been an official for a long time, so some of his dealings are a bit in the sense in that kind of a mode. But as a politician, he has proved himself to be very expert. My own view is one possible reason why he has not yet gone there is because of the fact that this incident on February 9 was a clear situation where extremely obnoxious slogans were raised. Slogans calling for a second partition in India. Slogans calling for the destruction of the Indian state. So I think Mr. Kejriwal has been smarter than Rahul Gandhi in that sense. He has distanced himself from that, and I think that's been a very smart political decision.
Okay. Neeta, about the government, have they gained this nationalism platform, because as Mr. Nahalapat said, certain kind of slogans were raised, certain anti-India objectionable slogans, and there are a lot of people who are saying, why should people like this say stuff in our own country? So has the BJP, this is their constituency, so has the BJP gained by this heavy-handed AK-47 action?
I think that is the card they are trying to play. It's a card that they are comfortable playing. The Dalit card that, the Dalit front was something they were very uncomfortable with. They would have been on the back foot in Parliament. Mayawati and the entire opposition would have gone to town against them. So this has come in very handy. Looking at it politically, this is where they can fight back. As far as the wider opinion, yes, I would say liberal opinion in the country is appalled. Young people, I was telling friends the other day, I went to a college to speak there, and out of a whole hall of young people, only two felt that democratic spaces in India were not shrinking. That entire hall felt this, that they were shrinking. And one student got up and she said to me, we used to write so freely on the Facebook, express our views. Now when I go on the Facebook, I wonder if I'm going to be targeted. Now, young voted in large numbers for Mr. Modi.
Yes.
And if he's going to alienate that opinion is something to worry about. Yet, it is true, if you talk to the panwala, the taxi driver, the shopkeeper outside, they did not like those slogans at all. And that is what has gone into their minds uppermost.
Okay.
So, how this is going to pan out politically, we don't know. In favor of the BJP, they want to encash this card, or is it something that will ultimately go against them? Because after all, as far as the rule of law and the very basic structure of our democracy, if you have journalists, national news media channel and paper journalists beaten up in the courts of the country's capital,
It's not great.
with the police looking on, doing nothing.
That is
I mean, is that the India we've built?
That's a very good note. We need to take a break, but I'm going to come back and continue the thought that Neeta has left us with. But a quick break. Welcome back to Cover Story. We are discussing the political handling of the JNU standoff and its immediate ramifications. Dua Saab, you've been advisor to 2 prime ministers. What would be your advice to this prime minister?
I never told the Prime Minister what to do, what not to do. I was a media advisor.
But, okay, so, and this prime minister doesn't like advisors.
At the same time,
But I take the risk.
I've been a newsman also. We fought the defamation bill. I was the General Secretary of the Editors Guild. Entire country's press united. And I can tell you what happened in the India Gate. The way Patiala House Court, the way journalists were suppressed. I would tell the Prime Minister to check the police, certainly. It is not helpful to the government even if the police become a force which suppresses public opinion. And newsmen, what were they seeking? They're seeking aankho dekha hal. And they were beaten like anything by the ruling party members.
The police is seen as the extension of the ruling party. Mr.
No,
Nalapati,
but secondly, as a Prime Minister, I would say appeal to the students, go back to your classes. We will assure that everybody has the right to dissent. Simply because somebody is dissenting, you can't call him anti-national. And I will certainly not like it, extreme views be expressed which threaten the unity of the country. But I would take the sedition law off.
No, that we
of
discussed.
Kanhaiya.
Okay.
That's the government has to decide to take off the sedition law. That nobody is going to accept for the students. Student community will definitely be not liking it.
Okay.
And the
Mr.
situation,
Nalapati, I'll just bring you in
no,
on this.
the problem is not only JNU now. The problem is spread to other
No,
universities
I'll just
also.
bring him in for 1-2 minutes. You know what he's saying about the Prime Minister, you know, whatever, we want some reaction, you know, whether he tells the students to go back to classes, don't talk about Afzal Guru. But kuch to bole.
Look, Priya, if the Prime Minister were to react to every firefight that is there on television screens, I think half his day is going to be spent on television reacting. I think the Prime Minister should focus on the substantive work, and if he's doing that quietly, and if results start coming in the next 1 or 2 years, that's fine. Neerja made a very important point about people worried about internet freedom. The fact is, it was the UPA who 2005 introduced this utterly start coming in the next 1 or 2 years, that's fine. Neerja made a very important point about people worried about internet freedom. The fact is, it was the UPA who 2005 introduced this utterly obnoxious amendments to the Information Technology Act,
Section
which has
66.
made this country even worse than North Korea from the point of view of dictatorial laws. You know, you can be sent to jail for almost any use of the internet.
But that has been struck down by the
No,
court.
look, 66A has been struck down, the law as such has not been. This government came on the promise of minimum government and maximum governance. Where is the minimum government? This government is also merely using the same provisions that the UPA was using. And that is where people are disappointed. They expected more. Now about Rahul Gandhi. I'm glad Rahul Gandhi has suddenly discovered the virtue of freedom and civil liberties and human rights now that he's out of power. I would request him, ask the Congress party to bring forward bills to rescind some of these obnoxious laws.
When they get to power.
To change some of them. No, now. And then dare the other people to vote against these things. So let him put action where his words are. And if he does that, he'll be doing a public service. But simply talking about freedom, when for 10 years, quite frankly, you had people like Chidambaram and Kapil Sibal introducing one obnoxious law after the other, is laughable.
Okay. Last word from you, Neerja.
Well, I hope we'll move into better days. You know, things are going to be different. As Javan says,
You don't look very hopeful in that tone of yours.
no, but yeah.
But this is a PM with such a large mandate. He's come, you know, obviously there
That's
will be
what
some
one
trick
is
up his sleeve.
disappointed with that, because you know, it was really a mandate for Narendra Modi, not for the BJP, not for anybody else. And somewhere I think he needs to intervene. Things are very, very serious. The situation is grave. He needs to intervene.
And Rahul Gandhi?
And one
Also
is with
Rahul
the
Gandhi, I
appeal to
think-
the people and do something to.
He needs to appeal to the people. But Mr. Nalapati, you know, you're saying that this is something that he should work on, you know, governing. But you know, at the end of the day, this is stopping governing.
Look, you have to have a decentralized system at which at every level people take correct decisions. This particular action with Delhi police, especially going in this heavy-handed manner, and now, for example, every anti-national element will be now warned, and they will go deep underground, and you're not going to ever discover them. So and then you arrest the student union president. That is something which, frankly, there is obviously zero political oversight of the Delhi police. Otherwise, this would not have happened. So the point of the matter is that every level, those who are in the government, in high positions, should exercise their collective responsibility properly and should exercise their discretion. This doesn't seem to be
That's a
happening.
good note to end on. I'm sorry, we're totally out of time. The government really needs to put systems in place. I think that's what Mr. Nalapati is saying, and you know, to take care of more incidents such as this. But from us, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this edition of Cover Story. We'll see you again, same time next week.